Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV. Yeah, in the rerun of a well-known base game. After the changes they made with 5.3. 5.4 by now, but 5.3 were the big changes for this. The Sylphic folk have long been friends to Redania. The mere thought of being at war with them pained the elder Seeds to no end. But owing to your efforts, she will be able to rest easier. Being the benevolent soul that she is, my lady will surely try to find a way to reverse the tempering process. Once again I thank you. If the signs of the Seventh Dawn not offered to mediate between our peoples, suspicion and doubt may well have led into a needless conflict. Pray pass on my regards to Lady Minfilia. Hello? Hello, Weird? Can you hear me? It is I, Minfilia. Eden Papalimo returned some little while ago and wasted no time in regaling me with a tale of your exploits. Thanks in large part to you, the name of one primal may be struck from our list of enemies, and the Gridanians may turn their attention to more pressing matters. Well done! Yet the end of one tale is but the start of another. Pray return to the waking sense at your earliest convenience. I would apprise you of a present situation in person. I still have tickets, right? That's probably every right ticket. Yeah. Both are new, by the way. I think I mentioned it already. Originally, you had always to teleport to Horizon or Limsa and travel the way here on your own. In fact, they bring it up later in the main story, at the start of the patch content, that the city actually doesn't have an Aetheryte, and that is deliberately to annoy us. Well, if it is my favorite adventurer, welcome back, Wilt. Lady Minfilia awaits you within the Solar. Please enter at your leisure. I'm given to understand that the matter of Ramu has finally been resolved. My fear resolve bespeaks a permanence we cannot rightly claim, yet I'm well satisfied that the Lord of Levin will not trouble us in the foreseeable future. Your satisfaction is assurance enough for me. How fares your investigation? Well enough, Thancred is sparing no effort. They are many and one, just as I suspected. Their purpose, however, eludes us still. I see. I've been meaning to ask, but is Alice quite well? I feel as if I have scarcely seen her in recent days. Oh, you haven't, and nor have I, alas. Alice has chosen to walk her own path. Stubborn girl. But you may be assured that our destination remains the same. And on that note, I take my leave of you. I trust the Bardessian report will serve you well. I take it we proceed as discussed. Why do you ask? You scarce need my permission to act. It's good to see you again, Weird. I've been looking forward to congratulating you on your triumph in the 12th Wood. Owing to your efforts, conflict has been averted. Truly, you have done the Scions proud. With that, we can strike Ramu from the list. So who's next? The Sahagin and Leviathan? The Lord of the Whole has not answered his minion's call of late, nor is he expected to do so in the near future. While the Saigin remain as aggressive as ever, they lack the quantity of crystals required to call forth their god. As with the sylphs, we can leave them to their own devices. For a time at least. For a time bearing repeating, we can ill afford to fall complacent. It's as Stoller says, unless you know the minds of the beast tribes, we cannot predict with any certainty when next the primal will return to plague the land. This being the case, we must proceed with as much haste as prudence allows. Any word on Titan? The Maelstrom keep the kobolds under constant observation. We shall hear from them ere long, you may depend on it. Indeed, so then, of all known primals that have been active in recent times, we are left with, Gridania, I mean, Garuda. Who is the primal of the exile who live near Gridania? Yeah, that's what I meant. So many moms to cover. Would that were a more efficient way to conduct our survey? Were he still with us, we should not long have wanted for a more practicable solution. She is not wrong there. Where in the world are you, Chief? But one sure step at a time. Henceforth, the Order of the Twin Adder will handle all matters pertaining to the sylphs under the sage guidance of the Seedseers. I bid you all enjoy a moment's respite. You've earned it. Is there something else, Wilt? During my investigation with the sylphs, I encountered a black-robed figure. Beg pardon? A man named Lahabrea sporting a red mask and robed in black. 12 preserve. Prior to the calamity, the Ascians took great pains to remain hidden. Why would they choose to cast off their veil of secrecy now? Gods, this bodes ill. We must take advantage of a present lull in primal hostilities and investigate this Lahabrea. Learn all we can of him and his designs. I dread to Tataru? A sylph? A sylph? In Thanalan? At long last, this one finds walking on wheeled. This one is most dependable of these ones. Is sent by Elder One Phrixia to help walking ones. This one is called Neuraxia. This one comes as a friend. Let these ones be friends. Huh. Pleasure to meet you, Neuraxia. For some reason we now need to return to Minfilium, after we just talked to her. Probably too. Yes, Tataru is as ready to express her fright as she is to express everything else. Not all of us are forged of the same steel as you, I'm afraid. But it takes all kinds to make a family, and it pleases me to no end to see ours continue to grow. One by one, the people of Eorzea are beginning to unite, Wield, drawn to the hope that shines within you. Yet a darkness threatens to engulf this light. Never have I doubted the Ascians' presence, but that they have grown so brazen as to carry out their work in plain sight fills me with a sense of deep foreboding. Back from the wood. I'm afraid there's no rest for the weary. We must delve further into the motivations of a masked man, the Ascian known as Lahabrea. This is an ideal moment to do so while our hands are not bound dealing with another primal. At present we know little less about the Ascians, only that destruction follows in their wake. I should not be surprised if these beings are behind the chaos that wrecks the realm. If my fears prove to be a reality, we must do all in our power to stop them. Earlier I sent word to each Grand Company to solicit cooperation. The Immortal Flames responded to the effect that they have information on a potential sighting. This is intelligence we can ill afford to ignore. Go speak with Flame Commander Swift at the Hall of Flames in Ulda to inquire further. How you go about the investigation thereafter, I leave wholly to your discretion. But whatever you do, never forget we are dealing with the unknown. You cannot take too many precautions. Be self-willed. Where's my... No, Hoffenheim is entirely wrong. Okay, Ulda. I guess I missed up first and second part of this. So, Commander Swift. The Masked Man. You've come on behalf of the Science, of course. Yes, as we've already relayed to Lady Minfilia, there has been a sighting of his rogue near about eastern Thanalan. The brassblade stationed at Highbridge described it in detail when he alerted us to suspicious activity. I would point you to the witness, but I'm afraid he died not 2 days ago, slain by a marauding horde of Kirkian. Fate can be a too cruel mistress. But do not be so quick to despair. Being situated on a trade route, Highbridge sees its fair share of travelers. Folk are always coming and going, and some among them may well have caught a glimpse of your target. You could do worse than to speak with a merchant named Hihibaru. The fellow's always starved for customers, and he is no doubt welcome your attention, whether or not you have coin or the mind to spend it. Okay, Eastern Thanalan and Highbridge. Welcome to Highbridge, adventurer. Whatever you seek, Hihibaru can provide it. Probably. You're after a masked man? Not sure if I have one of those in stock. Oh, you're after a masked man. Why didn't you say so sooner? Such an individual might have featured in one of the many rumors I've heard. If you linger well, maybe you'll learn a thing or two, huh? Hihibaru wants to help you find Lahabrea. Maybe. When the Order of Nalta began excavating the ruins below, I had hopes that Highbridge would turn into a bustling hub for pilgrims. But thanks to the nigh endless beastman raids, folks are too afraid to come within a mile here. I thought everything I owned to get my venture started. I'm loath to give out without making an earnest effort to stick it out. But if things keep going as they are, I'll be bankrupt before the moon is through. Whining won't do me any good though. No. For my business to survive, I need business. Speaking of which, perhaps you'd like to browse my wares? Spend a bit of coin to help a struggling merchant. The Masked Man. I'll take your bloody Masked Man. I know what I said before, but vague rumors are all I've got. If you want to know about him, go and ask the other merchants. Multiloquent merchant. I heard tell of a masked devil. Seems he's been appearing not only around Highbridge, but elsewhere about Thanalan too. Enough folk have reported seeing him to convince me he's more than a figment of the imagination, but little is known about him otherwise. On the trail of a masked man. Aye, I've heard of him. but only in hushed tones and faint whispers. It said he wears a black hooded robe and looks right suspicious. And that's about all I can say. Little though it is. Have I seen a masked man wearing a dark robe? No, I haven't. Nor do I wish to. Business is bad enough without shady characters lurking about. Folks have been giving Highbush a wide berth because of all the Kickian raids. None but the most devout of pilgrims are willing to come here anymore. Judging by your expression, I take it you didn't learn much of use. Look, I'm sorry for my rudeness earlier. It's just that things are tough for us merchants at the moment. The Kirkian raids are so constant, so organized, we're beginning to suspect that someone is orchestrating it all. I tend to put my own welfare first, like most of us do, but that doesn't mean I'm a bad person. I promise to keep an eye out for your masked man. If I see or hear anything, you'll be the first to know. I finally got some honest to God information on your masked man. Why so confident? Because I saw him with my own two eyes. I was out for an evening stroll, minding my own business, when I noticed a column of smoke rising from a cliff over at Farl's Respite. Curious, I took myself there to find a masked man, your masked man, I'm sure of it, standing by a fire. As if an answer, some Kickian appeared soon after, and the group began talking at length. I'm afraid I was too far out of earshot to hear much of anything. After the group had dispersed, an idea came to me. If you were to use this smoldering coal to start a fire, you might be able to arrange a similar meeting. It will be dangerous, I shouldn't doubt, but you have proven yourself more than a match for a pack of rats. So, what do you think? That's some sound reliable information, even if I do say so myself. Well worth all the lingering about you've been doing, wouldn't you say? Over there. I'm not quite certain about making a fire in this weather, and I absolutely don't like the A-rank mob there. I think it's an A-rank. Anyway, let's make a fire. Let's see what comes. Corpse Brigade Foot Soldier. Access soon? Were you able to find any clues leading to a masked man? A paper wart inscribed with a prayer to the patron deity of Alamigo, Ralga. This scroll, it bears a prayer to Ralga the Destroyer. In case you're unfamiliar, Ralga is the guardian deity of Alamigo, which is currently under Garlean rule. It's highly uncommon for folk of other nations to revere him. I'd wager my last skill that your assailant was an Alamigan. It seems this masked man of yours is very well connected. I must confess the merchant in me envies such a diverse network of contacts. That sells merchant also senses danger ahead, and darkness besides. Are you certain you'd rather not take things nice and slow here at Highbridge? The Alamigan bandit you had to run in is somehow connected to your masked man of mystery. So it stands to reason that if you want to pick a trail again, you should head toward Little Alamigo over in southern Thanalan. So, just so you know what to expect, the settlement is a favorite destination for those refugees who couldn't, well, adapt to life in Ul'dah. The hearts of the denizens are said to be as barren as the wasteland they live in, and for all intents and purposes, it's a lawless place. Be prepared for a not so warm welcome. Now, I'm not certain how much help she will be, but it just so happens I have a daughter who has relocated to Little Alamigo. Her name is Hihira, and it shouldn't hurt to seek her out first. And while you have her attention, I'd be obliged if you could send my love. Not a day goes by that I don't think of her. I suppose this is it then. I had hoped that you would linger here a while, call some fiends, spend some coin, what have you, but something tells me you're destined for greater things. Wherever it is you end up, I wish you the best. I do remember there was a second quest here originally, where he sends you here to the Kikian camp, and you find proof that the Kikian were hired by the Amalja to abduct people of Highbridge, and there's actually a fate chain here that deals with you defending the city from a Kikian raid, and then rescue the people they abducted. In fact, this breastplate down here can activate the last part of that, the rescue mission, manually, but we really shouldn't do that one alone. You probably need at least a second, probably a third player to actually manage that fate. Okay, here we are in Little Alamigo. Bit rundown refugee village. And here is Hihira, the daughter the merchant mentioned. Why, yes, Hihibaru is my father. He said, what? I wish I could be a better daughter to him. It's just that... Oh, I'm sorry, I shouldn't bother you with family matters. But I'm grateful for you for delivering the message. Now then, what brings you here? Masked man, I'm afraid the description doesn't ring any bells. But one of the others here may have seen something. I would recommend you first speak with Gundabald, the leader of the settlement. I must warn you though, he isn't exactly accommodating to outsiders. Why, you state your business and be quick about it. Looking for a masked villain, you say? And why should we help you, pray? We struggle enough without having to answer to the whim of every outsider. You're not welcome here. Be gone. And now? Giselbert, Flame Commander. Well met, adventurer. I'm Giselbert, head of security at Little Alamigo. I heard tell that you had business with Gundabald. Knowing the bristly old bear, I don't doubt he told you to bugger off. Owing to their hardships, the refugees don't trust anyone but themselves. Not even my man and I can get so much as a word of thanks out of them, despite watching the place day and night. But thanks or no, I try to help my fellow man when I can, and you seem a decent sort. If you tell me what brought you here, might be as I can lend a hand. On the trail of a masked villain, you say? Can't say that sounds familiar, but I have men on lookout for Almalja to the south of here. If there's been any suspicious activity, may I like to have seen it. I had a mind to take them each a cup of sweet Thanalan tea, so as to lift their spirits. If you had to run this little errand in my stead, they'd be over more willing to tell you what they know. angry rhythm. Are you an Amalja? No? Then carry on. Hey, I'm supposed to bring you some tea. Ah, this sophisticated aroma. Been forever since a drop of sweet Thanalan. I'm going to enjoy this. What? Masked man? Don't know, don't care. Unless you got dark scaly skin and stands 10 forms tall and has the face of a lizard, then I don't give a mama's fart. Shoo, don't bother me. If you muzzle overrun us, I'm blaming you. For me? You shouldn't have. Sorry? A suspicious masked man? As a matter of fact, I caught a glimpse of someone fitting that description during patrol. Well, I couldn't quite make out whether it was a man or not, what with the mask and the robe, but assuming it was a he was talking with some Alamegans. I assumed he was one of them. Some Alamegans. Oh, where are you? I'm trying to conserve energy, so leave me alone. Well, ain't you considerate. My thanks, friend. What's that? Masked villain. Hiding among the refugees like as not. My compatriots as live here go about as though they're dead on their feet. 'Tis near impossible to tell what's on their mind. For all I know, they're all up to no good. Ach, man. Fine. I go around. Ah, you're back. So, did my lookouts have aught to share with you? That doesn't sound much like much to go by. If you are to get any further in the investigation, seems to me you need the cooperation of the Alamegans. For this you need to win their trust, and that won't be an easy task. So, you're determined to press on with your investigation? Then I have some advice to offer. As I said before, you won't get far without Alamegan trust. And the best way to win that trust is to get a compatriot of theirs, someone they respect, to vouch for you. Coin does the talking in Ulda, but the Alamegans are bound by something far stronger, if not as tangible. A common purpose. That purpose is of course, the liberation of their home from the Garleans. Gunderbolt belongs to the Alamegan resistance, so your best bet would be someone who's part of the same crew. If you know any well-connected people, you might want to start by asking them. And the quest recommends Minfilia for that. So let's return once more to Vesper Bay. Welcome back, Red. How fares your investigation? I see. Given all that they suffered, it is little wonder the Alamegan refugees have lost faith in their fellow man. They have had their homeland taken from them, and for the past 2 decades have had to see it remain in the enemy's clutches. To compound matters, none of the 3 city-states have a means to take in all those who were displaced. As a result, a great many Alamegans now live on the margins of society, suffering poverty and discrimination. Would that more could be done to ease their hardships? I fear that nothing short of reclaiming their homeland would be a lasting solution. But let us deal with one problem at a time. Returning to the matter of your investigation, it just so happens there's an Alamegan native among the Scions. I should be pleased to introduce you to him. But I think we do that next time, because this episode is already pretty long in the recording. Until next time, then, when we continue looking to the masked man and hopefully gain the Alamegan's trust. I'm Mace, and don't get lost.